Before going on to the wildlife side, let us speak something about natural vegetation. Vegetation, to put it simply, vegetation means plant. Everything connected to it, maybe the trees, maybe the forest, they are all somewhere connected to the plant. And as the name itself suggests, natural means without intervention of human beings. There is no trace of human being, no help, no contribution, no intervention. If a vegetation growing in the area without the intervention, support, contribution of human beings, we call it a natural vegetation. And rest of the factors would remain same. Now the rest factors what we talk about, in order to grow the plant or in order to or in order for the plant to grow in a place, we need the favorable soil, that is fertile soil that we call about. We need the temperature proper because sunlight is been required. And it is connected to means that climate, when we talk about the climate, everything coming to that one. And that is photo period or the sunlight. And last but not the least, that rainfall or precipitation. Now, after going through the chapter of climate, we had already concluded that any such things are directly inviting or indirectly inviting the rainfall also. They are all interconnected and interrelated. This interconnectivity and interrelation between these factors, say if the sunlight is available at a place for a longer period of time, that is called photoperiod. So this temperature or availability of sunlight may in turn influence the rate of evaporation, which in turn influence the precipitation, because evaporation ultimately goes on to become the precipitation. So the falling of the water is somewhere connected to the sunlight. Sunlight is connected to the proper growth of the plant, because in the presence of the sunlight, that process of photosynthesis continues and the plant create their food to survive and grow. So, and proper fertile soil is required for the proper growth of the plant. Now, when we are talking about all these things, we are actually been talking about the natural factors, these are all, and naturally growing in an area. Thanks, in India also, all these natural factors are plentifully available. India being a tropical country, we have sunlight almost throughout the year available. In some season we have a plenty of sunlight. In some season we may not have that much, but we can't say scarcity. We are going through the winter season. But even this winter season, almost every day we are facing that sunlight. Maybe not as scorching and as bright as during that summer season, but it is still available there. So this availability of sunlight means temperature, in other words, okay. And in India, you see the land side. So for land of India, 3.28 million square kilometers. Means we have a vast stretch of land also. Out of this one, if we talk about the fertile land or the fertile soil, we have the entire stretch of the northern plain from Punjab to Arunachal Pradesh, that is made up of the alluvial soil. Here you have a plenty of fertile soils available, but then at the same time, this particular area is the most densely populated area of India. Means number of people living in per square kilometer in this area is much greater than that of the other regions of India. In other words, here the vegetation that is been found is less natural and more of vegetation. Means either human had supported it, cleared it, planted it or destroyed it. But human presence is there. Say, this is the densely populated area as I have told. Density of population is measured by the number of the people living in a per unit area, that per square kilometer. Okay. And in this particular area, if number of people are living more, conclude they would have cut the jungles. Even if the natural vegetation would have been available at one point of time, they would have cleared the jungle. They had converted it into the either agricultural field or settlement areas or transportation modes, etc. And if agricultural field, vegetation is growing, crops are growing, that is also the part of plant or vegetation. But because human beings have contributed to their growth or to their disaster, whatever the cases may be, here we are concerned about the growth. So that is vegetation. In which area then we may find in India the natural vegetation? Those areas which are beyond the accessibility of the people of India, or those areas which are very tough terrain, or the areas where the climatic conditions are either very much harsh in the case, very much cold or very much hot, say the deserted areas, Thar desert of India. If some vegetation is been found into the interior of the Thar desert, they are more likely to be natural in nature, because in those areas the human beings are not living. Okay. Northeastern part of India, that is Purvachal Himalayan region. Western or the windward side of the Western Ghat, because in the climate chapter, in the relief chapter, we had studied about all these areas. These are the areas from where the rain-bearing cloud enters, but these are complete forested areas. And if you could have could remember your second or third chapter, physical features of India, this is a continuous stretch of the land which can only be passed through the passes, that is Western Ghat. So here, and second thing is what? So first of all, this is very tough tropical, terrain means area. Second, because the rain-bearing cloud or the monsoon wind enters from this side, this is the windward side, this is the leeward side, and here the precipitation is very much high. Recall your previous chapter. The second side, the precipitation where it is very much high is in the northeastern part of India. Meghalaya, the most wettest place in the world. Okay, that Mausim Ram is a place there. So in these areas, because it is the Purvachal Himalayan region, very tough terrain, the tough area, a great number of vegetations have been found. Water is also plenty, around 400 above centimeter. Water precipitation is coming down here, and India being a tropical region, we have a plenty of sunlight as well. So possibility of vegetations are found in density into these regions, which are, yes, there are a plenty of vegetations found in these regions, and all these regions are very, very densely populated regions so far vegetation is concerned. But these areas, because are beyond the reach of human being, may be geographically very tough, or it is not suitable. Where do people in the junior classes would have studied, where do people prefer to live? The preference is that these are the factors taken under consideration. The flat topography, the flat land, so that they can construct their settlements also, they can easy transport, they can build up their industries as well. Plus the moderate climate, neither very much cold nor very much hot, good rainfall areas, or the plenty of availability of water, and all these things are being found here. Anything, the rivers that is coming down from the Himalayan region are becoming slow in the flat topography of northern plain. So plenty of water, moderate climate, it is not as cold as that of the upper reaches of Himalaya. It is not as hot as the Thar desert, and it is not as wet as that of the Meghalaya or Nasingam. So the people prefer to live here. The people are living in these regions. The vegetations are likely to be found, but that is a vegetation, not a natural vegetation. This is first of all what is natural vegetation and where they are likely to be found. What are the factors that may affect them? First thing. Second, India, all these factors that we have been talking about, all these factors that affect vegetation or natural vegetation are because available in India on a larger site, on a plenty site. In India also the natural vegetation are available in plenty site. And so far vegetation, natural vegetation is concerned, 47,000 species of the plants are found in India, of which 15,000, these are the facts and figures, are flowering plants. Some of them are exotic in nature and some of them are indigenous. Exotic is what? Exotic that actually came from the other region, not of your region, not opposite of native is exotic. And indigenous is that is exclusively been found in your region. That is indigenous. Okay. Say cotton. For example, cotton is said to, India is said to be the natural home of cotton plants. Means the cotton from India went into the other parts of the world. And say rose. Rose is supposed to be brought into India or introduced in India by the Persians, what is modern day known as Iran. So it is now though grown in India in plenty, but it is introduced in India from other place. So that is an example of the exotic plant. Okay. And so there are many vegetations, there are many plants which don't bear flower. There are many that is bearing flower. So that is flowering, and you see these numbers are plenty. And in other words, India has a diversity into the flora. The other term now we have been using it. Flora means entire plant of a place, and opposite of that one is fauna. So this is, now when we talk about the wildlife or the animal kingdom, if we have a plenty of forest, at the same time we have a plenty of animals because they are home to that one. Now because these climatic factors vary from place to place, region to region, hence the variation into the size and growth of the plant is also possible, visible and available. Okay. So based on these diversities of different types of the factors available in different degree at different places, we may categorize the plant into different parts. First of all, one vegetation, natural vegetation, these are the different categories of the natural vegetation. One is evergreen forest, which is also known as rainforest. Okay. That is in tropical region they have added. Okay. Second is tropical deciduous forest. In India, this type of forest is found in plenty. Okay, but found in plenty means almost every type of the forest that is possible is, all of them are found in India. So tropical deciduous forest, then we have a thorn forest and scrubs, correct. Montane forest, and then mangrove forest, which is also known as tidal vegetation. you see India evergreen where the rainfall is above 200 centimeters. Now above 200 centimeter areas are this windward side of the Western Ghats. Then we have this northeastern part of India, bring under your consideration that climate chapter, where the rainfall is found in plenty. So if the rainfall is in plenty, first thing, these are the balanced diet for the forest. Temperature and water. Rainfall is plenty means water is plenty. And India being a tropical country, you have the no scarcity of the sunlight. So in the presence of sunlight, plus the rainfall, the different types of the forest species are being found, or the plant species are likely to be found in these forests. Now, because there is no particular, why do plants shed trees? Sorry, why do plants shed leaves? Not trees, correction. Why do plants shed leaves? Who can say? Transpiration is the process of shedding away of the water, releasing the water by the plant is transpiration. Fine, you are near to that one. But then, anybody else? Why do we, this is a sort of adaptation, Okay, whenever, suppose our climate changes, we are in the winter season. I've already talked about this one in the previous chapter. All of a sudden we are not taking out our sweaters and pullovers. If I may ask you, what is the time period or what is the month from where the winter season starts in India? Not for everybody. This question is not to be answered in chorus. Raise your hand. What is the winter months of India? Raise your hand. Winter months of, we had studied. This is here, we are living in India, we are facing winter. From when the winter starts with a common sense, you are still hesitating and raising your hand. May, June is the winter one?
No, sir. From early November to till February.
That is what from where we have been facing that one. Is this a common that requires so much hesitation? This is limited. So from November last we have been actually starting facing a winter, and till February this is what we feel that. Okay. Before in October do we feel shivering cold? No. In September do we feel that answer? No. After February do we feel that one? Moderation starts after there. Okay. So these are the winter months. Now November to February. December and January are the coldest month. That is what this, even if we have not studied, we can understand that when we are in December we are feeling cold. Okay. So when the winter starts, I've already told about normally after the festival called Durga Puja or Diwali, it is a sort of advent of the winter, that starting or beginning of the winter season. We start feeling cold normally once these festivals are, because these festivals in India are coinciding with that of our winter season beginning. Chhath festival, normally we feel more near to that one. But not necessarily everybody has the woolen clothes on their body. Okay. When you start feeling cold, first of all, what do? All of a sudden, if we have been feeling cold, we are trying to adapt and adjust by keeping our hands across like this one, means our body situations we are adapting. This is adaptation, not all of a sudden. Then you may, if you have been wearing the half sleeve shirts, you have been replacing it with that of the full sleeves, you have been putting the looser inside, etc. These are means a gradual one. Then you have been going for the sweaters, then pullovers, then hooded jackets, polar jackets, etc., according to their availability, affordability, etc., whatever. These other economic factors are also there. Okay. So you see what we are doing. Why do we do like that? In order to beat the cold, in order to adjust to the changes in our surrounding, we are making the resulting adjustment just by putting our arms across our body tightly in order to what? In order to give or collect ourselves very tightly in order to warm ourselves. Why? Because the surrounding has changed. First of all, that we do. If we could not beat it that when the surrounding if dominates, then we are looking for another option. Another option is these woolen things, etc. Even the woolen costumes or the clothes are not good enough to beat the cold, then we are using that fire and etc. in order to increase the heat, and then we are feeling more comfortable sitting near the fire. Okay. So these are all what we are making the changes. Similarly, in order to a tree having the what is the role of leaves in a tree? The main role of leaves in a tree.
Sir, it's
To making
make
the
food.
Okay, fine. Then who will let me know that how is a food manufactured by the tree or the plant?
By
No,
sunlight.
no, chorus is very easy. Okay, it is not national anthem. It is except national anthem. Singularly, who will let me know? Because that is a bio section which is the poorest of mine. Please enlighten me. Yes.
Sir, may leaves help us, may help them to make the food.
How? That is my question is how. Okay, fine.
Sir, may chlorophyll chlorophyll present in the leaves and collect the sunlight and may collect some other nutrients from the roots and may help in making the
Okay,
and
so
after carbon dioxide also.
okay, that is okay, fine. Means certain useful gases from the atmosphere, from sunlight also, collecting the useful minerals from that of the root. Up to here you have told, but what I want to hear you haven't told. And is there anything missed?
There are many post minerals from
That is another thing. Okay, okay, fine. That is your also correct. Everything is sunlight taken, gases taken, minerals taken.
photosynthesis.
That entire process is. But then what is missing? That is exactly. Water is missed. In the entire description, water is not there. Okay. They have taken everything except water, then that is still incomplete. Fine. If the water is, that is what we are coming on. Your rainforest connect to water. If the water is plenty, means everything is sunlight is no problem whatsoever. The particular plant growing into the area that whatever the nutrients they are liking, they are also available. The only fluctuating factor at a given point of time is water. So water may fluctuate sometimes very high, sometimes very low, sometimes on the drier side. And you could have noticed during the rainy season the surrounding appears very green. Almost that dried up grasses are also been flourishing into the greeniness. Simple, because they are getting the plenty of water. Plenty of water means more of photosynthesis, means more of manufacturing of the food. There is no, if you are getting food, all types of the food and food in plenty, then your body will definitely go into the plump. But on the other hand, if anybody is been not getting the food on a regular basis, is gradually getting thinner and the thinnest. Okay. Even sometimes in the economics that is called starvation, that heading towards the, in order to survive, I don't have the plenty of more the leaves, means more of a food. More the leaves means more of a food. More of a food means more of a water. And if the water is not found in plenty, then the leaves may not survive. So if you are very much obstinate, I will keep all the leaves, but I can't get entire water to complete that food. What will happen in that case? That will damage the tree. So in that case, I want to survive, but the water is not in plenty. So okay, I can afford to sacrifice some of my leaves, so that at least the survival is there. Okay. So that is what we used to. So now put it simple. We have been shedding the leaves as a tree in the drier season because we don't get plenty of water. Okay, if we are getting plenty, in some of the cases there are some trees or some plants which has a waxy sort of stem. Okay, say lotus. You would have seen that if you put the droplets of water into that one, it will literally float over that one. It will not absorb. Why not absorbing? Because okay, if I keep on absorbing more, and the water, if it is not more, means if I have a rough surface of the stem, it means that I will be getting the whatever the water that I am getting it from that of the root, I shall not be able to transfer it to the leaf, because in between it will be absorbed because of my rough surface. Okay. So absorption is, and that is why it is sometimes told that nature is the greatest engineer. Okay, it's the great architect. If the water is plenty, then no problem. But if the water is scarcity, then you have to design the root, you have to design the stem accordingly in order to preserve the water. That is why the trees or the plants found into the desert region have a longer and longer roots, so that they can deeply penetrate inside the ground in order to search for the water. Okay, so it is entire game of the water. So if you have a water, you have plenty of leaves, bear the leaves, because the rainy season they have a plenty of leaves, and the which is the plant is still there, but the plant is thin. But during the rainy season, you see the same plant which had already shed their leaves started gaining the leaves during that one, because now the water problem has been solved. Okay, so if in a region you have the water throughout the year more than 200 centimeter, there is no requirement of shedding the leaves. If you have a same type of a climate all the time, there is no requirement to take out your sweaters. If you have been living in a, suppose throughout the year is a spring season, you need not to take out the sweaters and pullovers, etc. So because they have all that, so no need to tightly close your hands in order to adapt and adjust to the change into the surrounding. Here is what you have all the time the water available. As a result, different types of the trees in plenty have been found, and there is no particular time for the trees to shed the leaves. In our part of the world, where the deciduous plants have been found, during the dry summer season, the trees are shedding the leaves. During the rainy season, they are gaining the leaves. We can see it practically. Why? Because the water is fluctuating during the summer season. But then if we are living in Meghalaya or Cherrapunji or Mawsynram or into the western part of Western Ghats, where almost every day we have a plenty of rainfall, so there is no requirement for the trees to shave the leaves, and as a result, the forest in these regions are almost evergreen. That is, whenever you see, they may appear green. Okay, so that is why they are called the tropical evergreen forest or rainforest, because they are the forest in the areas where the rain is plenty. Okay, stop this.